Hi friend, David here from Learn Christmas Lighting, and in this video we want to talk all about the Dominar Beam that's out now, that's on pre-sale right now through August 1st, or if you're catching this later, that we have for sale, versus some of the other lights that you're going to see out of there, some of the other moving heads, and just take a look at all these and just take as balanced of a perspective as I can at showing you why this light is really a great deal and really just an awesome moving light if you do want to add beams to your show. And so, as we've talked about here, check out here the main video on the Dominar Beam, and I have better photos than that. I know I have better video than that too around. And I want to just talk about what makes this thing so great and how it really compares to the other lights out there on the market. Now, it's no secret, looking at moving head beam lights, that this in the Christmas light market is on the higher end of things. Okay. And it definitely is a professional grade light. And so I want to show you just how that kind of compares. So some of the things, as we mentioned before with this light, is it's a 300 watt LED light. Okay, it's a beam, it's a white source, which means there's no lamp to strike, no waterproof, no ballast to go bad, etc. So the first one that people always throw at me is, and I'll just come down below here, is when they say, hey David, there's this waterproof beam light that I can get from Daniel Zhang or many other places if you search for them, and the price on these moving heads is typically, straight from China. You might pay anywhere from maybe 600. Does this one have a price on it? It does not. Anywhere from $600 to $1,000 about to bring one of these over here. I know, as a matter of fact, I can literally get this unit through my supplier, and we could sell them. We could get these lights and sell them for around $1,000, $1,100. But I'm not a fan of these lights for a couple reasons. The first is they're huge and heavy. Okay, they're 80 to 90 pounds depending on where you get them from. Users have reported a lot of issues with, either belt problems, motor problems, or ballast problems being the biggest one, where the ballasts go bad and now the light can't turn on at all and you're stuck until you get a new ballast. And having to buy new ballast and then rip the light apart and fix it. It's not cool. I don't know if those were particularly with these ones, but with other ones like that, that was the main problem that people run into. But even if all things were equal between the two, this light, say you're paying to bring this into the country, you're paying somewhere like $750 to $950, let's say. Then you pay shipping, which right now, as most people probably know with pixels and other stuff, shipping prices have gone through the roof from China. Okay. And we're including all the shipping in the cost of the light of the Dominar Beam. Okay. Which is pre-selling for $15.99. But if you buy more, it's going to be less. Okay. Its normal price is going to be $18.99, and it's worth every bit of that. But if you buy a light for, $750 to $950, and then you add shipping, and then you pay the 30% tariff, okay? That's important. So anything that comes from China that you're buying from a reputable vendor, they have to pay tariffs on. And if you're here in the US as a US citizen, if you're bringing something in from China, you are legally obligated to pay tariffs. Now, will your shipper always invoice you for tariffs? Not always. But it does happen. People get surprised by it every year when UPS or DHL or FedEx sends them an invoice for tariffs, and they can't get their stuff till they pay the invoice. Sometimes it'll come after the fact, okay? It's 30% from China, okay? It's about 30%. And so that's a third, right? With the Dominar, we're including that, okay? So you're already at $1,300 or $1,400 for a light that's heavy, that might have mechanical woes down the road, is kind of, not the highest quality there, and is not as fast as a non-waterproof beam, or in this case, the Dominar Beam is fast because it's lightweight, like the non-waterproof ones. Okay, so between all that, you can kind of see how, wow, you're already up to almost where we're pre-selling this light for. and you get so much more out of the Dominar Beam. Let's compare it to some other lights on the market. So there's the Magical Light Shows light. Good light. I got nothing bad to say about it, except you've got to put it in the dome, and shipping's not included, and it's a 4 to 6 week delivery. So obviously I'm pre-sailing right now the Dominar Beam. That pre-sale price is about an 8-week delivery price. Okay, so we're equal there. And this is a good light. But the places where it falls a little short, and it was a good light for a long time, but now we can go LED and all that, is that it's a bulb. So while out of 230 watts, you get more apparent brightness compared to an LED, i.e. if you had a 230 watt LED, the bulb would probably look a little brighter. They're going to be pretty similar comparatively, the 300 watt LED to the 230 watt bulb. But what you get is, instead of having to replace bulbs every year or two on these units at like $70 a pop, and the fact that you've now got a ballast, you've got to strike it at the start of the show, you got to remember to douse it at the end of the show. Ballasts get very hot, and so that's kind of a risk there. You don't have any of that with the Dominar. So I'm not knocking on Tom George's Magic Color. It is a good light, okay? But $6.99 for the light, $5.49 for the enclosures. That's already $6.39 plus $5.49. And again, I got nothing against Tom, but you're at $12.48 already, and shipping is calculated and billed separate. Okay, and so what you're looking at then is, especially with the dome, those can be expensive to ship. With the Dominar Beam, shipping is included in the price, okay, to the lower 48 states of the U.S., no questions asked. Okay, whether you got a loading dock or it's just coming to your house, I'm paying for the shipping in that price. I'm paying for the tariff, all that. So you can really see how, especially on the pre-sale pricing, this is a good deal. But even once we're done with the pre-sale pricing, the Dominar is not that much higher than this, and we're able to have all the same effects that are inside, except for the zoom, but you really don't see that used in Christmas light shows. And zoom wise, and they're about the same beam angle wise, and so that's fairly the same there. Now let's talk about some professional units. So here I've got the Chauvet Rogue Outcast Beam. This is a small 300 watt bulb, so that would be probably a little brighter than the Dominar, but it's $2,600, so it's a good bit more expensive than the Dominar. We also have the ADJ Hydro. I don't have this up, but the Hydro Beam X2 or X1. This one's a 370 watt, and the X1 is a 110 watt. But either way, this one is $3,700, and the X1, let's see if I can get to it this way, is about $1,780. Okay, both have lamps. The X1's not as bright, and but and has a 3-degree beam, so it's not going to appear quite as punchy as the 1.2 that the Dominar has, but it is a good light. Okay, but all these lights, whether we're talking 3,700, whether we're talking 2,600, these are all professional grade lights with a very similar level of quality to the Dominar Beam, but the Dominar Beam is going to be less expensive at the end of the day, because we're bringing it in exclusively straight from the factory here, but warehousing it in the US, shipping it to you. And so I hope this helps you if you've been kind of on the fence. You've been looking at the Dominar Beam as we've been talking about it, and you've been saying, well, maybe this is for me, but it's expensive. Maybe this is for me, but I don't know. I hope you can kind of see in a price comparison here how, even if it looks expensive, it really isn't as expensive as it might look when you add up all the costs together. And when you look at the fact that this is fully waterproof, it's literally about the same weight as the Magic Color, which is, the Magic Color is, say the weight on here. These ones are typically about 30 pounds for the light. And then the dome might be another 20 or 30 pounds. Plus it's large. You have to assemble the light in the dome. A lot of people do that on the ground because it's a lot easier. You can do it on the roof, take the dome off. It's, a little less safe, of course, because you're on a roof, but it's less dangerous to bring up then. But regardless, all of these lights, I just really, the reason why I brought this light here into the US is not that I want to become a vendor so bad in the Christmas light space, because I didn't necessarily, but I just think and I see where everything else that's out there is just not quite right for the Christmas lighting space. Whereas this light here, you know, we've brought this in. We're going to include the X-Lights file. I'm going to include training that I've done in Learn Christmas Lighting Academy and some more custom training that is going to walk you through exactly how to use this thing. You're going to have the custom model. It's going to be the easiest beam light to get going with X-Lights. So if you're up for that, check out the Dominar Beam, links below. And of course, email me if you're looking for a bulk order. We have it listed on this page, and there are all the options on this site where we've got our different things we have for sale. We'll be adding more over time, but if you want to do a bulk order, more than 4, and you want pricing on that, email me, david@learnchristmaslighting.com, and we will see you guys in the next video here on Learn Christmas Lighting. Thanks. Hope that answers some questions for you. See ya.